world is changing, and so does change. But the mind has the potential to capture the changing world and make every change count. At Skills Mindset, the leading global skills, strategy and corporate development company, we believe that the mind has the potential of transforming the man from obscurity to prominence. It's the reason why we make skills our business. At Skills Mindset, we stand for change, for development and for success. We challenge, we inspire and we lead. With Skills Mindset, your limit is just the beginning. Welcome to Skills Mindset. For more information about the great service we provide, please visit our website on www.skillsmindset.com or give us a call on our UK number on 07957 676 193. Better still, send us an email on info@skillsmindset.com. Skills Mindset. Challenging limits, maximising opportunities.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. You're welcome again to this month edition of our Skills Mindset Masterclass. You're all welcome. It's a great day. So welcome and greetings to you all. We are delighted to have you join us for another live session of the exclusive and transformative Skills Mindset Masterclass. So let us know, where you are joining us from. We'll be glad and so appreciative if you can tell us where you are joining from, the city, and of course the country you are joining from. It's such a time that we meet to share experiences, knowledge, and expertise, where we bring in experts, to discuss on issues of leadership and of personal progression and of course of transformation. So this is one of such days that we are having a masterclass which is being presented to you today. So please join us and let us know where you are joining from. We want to hear from you. It's a great pleasure being here, and it's going to be exciting because we are in for a great moment where we have experts in the house sharing his knowledge and his experience in this area. So, friends, please let us know where you're joining from. We'll be glad to know. It's very important that we get everybody on board. Very important that we get you to attend so that you won't miss out on this live, knowledge being shared. It's going to be very exciting and very informative. So, welcome to this awakening moment, as we'll embark on a journey together where we explore the power mind results of experienced experts. Together, we will uncover and enhance opportunities for skills development, business progression, professional growth, and of course, leadership for everyone. So today, our purpose is to bring attention to a vital subject that can greatly influence the people. We would like to focus on the need or importance of getting up from setbacks. Okay, this will definitely encourage deep reflection, actionable insights, and then, of course, inspire growth. So we want you to get ready, get prepared. You may have to get your pen and paper ready. You may also have to get yourself a cup of coffee or tea or water, whatever you prefer. But get seated, get comfortable as we hear, as we delve into today's masterclass. I can't wait to get into the session, really. Please join me, therefore, as we going to be warmly welcoming our special and the guest presenter and lecturer, lecturer for today. We're going to be in a class. It's going to be leading us through this class, and it's going to be teaching and unleashing his experience and knowledge, nuggets in these areas, particularly giving us some tips on how to get back, even while we face setbacks or in the period of challenges. It's going to be very exciting. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Abimbola Alabi, who happens to be a management consultant specializing in leadership and mentoring. okay, with decades of experience in shaping, best practices in human resources. He's also the president of City of Refuge Ministries Incorporated, an internationally recognized organization dedicated to empowering individuals to achieving their life's purposes. I can tell you he's a prolific writer. Dr. Alabi has authored several books and several, and serves, as the publisher and editor as well of a panoplia, a quarterly newspaper or newsletter, pardon me, with a global audience. Friends, together with his wife, I can tell you that Dr. Alabi facilitated a monthly leadership and mentorship discussion series focused on providing practical solutions to equip entrepreneurs and leaders for success. Once again, we extend a warm welcome to Dr. Adeumi Alabi as he joins us for this month's Skills Mindset Masterclass. This is your first month, first edition, first time on our masterclass. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank
Yeah,
you,
well,
Dr. Lawal. And
yes, it's a joy having you. Yeah, we we got there in the end. Thank you
yes,
so much for your
finally.
time,
Yeah,
and thank you for taking this opportunity. I mean, challenging, up, and then of course, thank you for your time that you want to share with us. I know you are very busy, but when it comes to issue of personal development, issue of transformation and all that, I think you are always excited and you can't wait. And I'm sure that's one of the reasons why you created time to meet with us today and do this session. You're welcome. We
yes.
appreciate that.
Thank you. And you know, Dr. Lawal, it's towards the end of the year, and people might be out there, you listening to us, you watching us, and you think you've set
Yeah.
for yourself 2024 things to achieve, attain, and it's
Yeah.
31st of October. Where are you? Would like you to stick to your dreams, don't give
Yeah.
them up. As we go through these
Yeah.
discussions, we'll let you know that yes, what you set out to achieve in 2024 is still doable, even though it's October 31st. So, yeah,
Yeah. The day is still young.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely. So thank you so much. So while we are waiting for other people to join us, we know that a lot of people who have actually registered to be with us in this session. So we'll be expecting them joining from everywhere in the world, and of course on various platforms that we have: LinkedIn, YouTube, and then of course Facebook. So while we get settling down to this, could you take this moment and tell us more about yourself? I know I've done a bit of introduction, but of course I can just do that to the limit of what I know. So, but can you tell us more about yourself, particularly what you do, why you do it, and then what keeps you awake doing what you love to do? Can you just tell us briefly?
I think basically I can sum it up in one statement. I love to empower people to fulfill their God given destiny. I believe that
Mm,
every one of us, every human being that has been able to have life here on this planet Earth has a
mm,
purpose. You are not a mistake. So, my passion has been everyone I meet, I want to be sure that you know why God allow you to be here in this world, what you are supposed to do, and you get to do it and impact other lives. Don't just go through life like a roller coaster, as some people call it. So that drives me, Dr. Lawal, that everyone I met, everyone I am meeting today, and everyone I will meet tomorrow, I want to be sure that they know their purpose in life. They are not just following the crowd. Each one of us listening to us today have a distinct destiny. You have a purpose that God has called you uh, to impact your generation. So whatever you find yourself doing, you have a dominion. You are not like others. You are unique. Like Scientists tell us we have and that's why they talk about the DNA, that it's they can track you with your fingerprint because it's unique to you. So your purpose in life is unique to you. You are not just to roam about. While we were in high school, they used to talk about talent hunting, and people will go on a game of talent hunting and trying to discover what their talents are. So in life, yes, life can start you well. Life can start you at any particular uh, stage, but the goal is to let you know that wherever you find yourself today, are you, working towards achieving that goal in your life? And it starts from you discovering yourself. That's what I found out, Dr. Lawal. Like, if you don't know who you are, it might be difficult for you to point out people to their direction. I remember one uh, illustration late Dr. Billy Graham said he went to a city to do a crusade. And while there, before the crusade started, he wanted to mail a postcard to his wife to say, the crusade is going on. And he stepped out of the hotel and was trying to walk around by himself and asked a young man, can you please show me the post office? And the man said, okay, who are you? He said, oh, I'm here to lead people to God. That's what I do. I lead people to God. Oh, and the young man looked back at him and said, sir, you don't know your way to the post office. You want to lead people to God. And Dr. Graham said that was a lesson for him. Like, yeah. So we are here on this masterclass to let you know that the setbacks in life you might have had or experiencing or running away from, they are not to deter you from becoming who you are. There is a purpose for your life.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Yes, I can share that with you as well. And, that's my feelings and passion and sentiment as well. We have some people joining us from YouTube. Anthony is here now from YouTube. Can you just tell us, where you're joining from, the city and the country? Femi, you're welcome from LinkedIn. You're welcome. People joining from Facebook, from LinkedIn, and from YouTube. You're all welcome. We recognize you. We appreciate you being here. So yes, you are just right on in time. So let's get into this. So thank you, sir, for that. You have just shared briefly in terms of your for your interest, and then of course your progression in what you do. We appreciate that, and I think it's always going to be helpful bringing people on track as to how to navigate through life challenges in pursuit of their purpose. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. And thank you all for participating in this month's exciting masterclass. Let's dive into the business of the day. We would, like I said, we will discuss the importance and challenges associated with rising, from setbacks in life and in business. So without any further delay, let us warmly welcome Dr. Alabi for his presentation. You have the floor, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay. Now, like I've said, again, we welcome all of us joining whichever part of the globe you are in. What we want to challenge ourselves for the next few minutes is rising from setbacks in life and business. Like I said earlier, all of us have a purpose in life. You are not just an accident. You didn't just happen. I've had quite a number of some people say, oh, I don't even know my father. I don't even know my mother. That does not deter you from becoming who you are. Oh, you need to know about my background. I've been passed on from one family member to the other. I don't even know who I am. That's not strange to you. That's not peculiar to you. other people in life have that. And so no matter the current challenges, you can achieve your dream. Many of us blame it on our countries and say, oh, you know, I was born in Nigeria. If you know how Nigeria is, so people have compared it to the next thing to hellfire. You know, there are still people who are fulfilling their lives' purpose daily in Nigeria, wherever you are. Afghanistan, Iran, even the current war zone in Gaza, there are people, in spite of that crisis, who still make sure that daily they fulfill their life purpose. So we want to look at people who had challenges and came back. And as you follow us in this discussion, we want you to know that there's a way out for you. There are many reasons why individuals, innovators, and entrepreneurs, like those of you listening to us, uh, have challenges. Sometimes everything they have worked hard so far just disintegrate in a matter of minutes. And, and they are like, okay, contemplating suicide. No, don't ever, ever do that, because contemplating suicide is not a way out of the crisis you have found yourself. No, do not ever consider that. There are always things, as you will see, some of the examples we'll share with you today. There are people who you think life should have ended for, but they did not end their life. So you're listening to us today, never contemplate ending your life. It's not an option that courageous people do, like you listening to us today. So everything they've worked hard so far sometimes disintegrate because of personality clashes, mishandled finances, poor decision making, or just bad luck, as some people say. Yeah, but what do you do? So let's look into some multi-millionaires who lost it all, but they came back because let's talk about money. They say money is the real issue. So there are some multimillionaires that had issues. Dr. Lawal, can you increase that slide a bit for me? Okay, thank you. So during the dot-com boom era of the 1990s, there's this James Altucher who founded a web design company, and he was part of the early starters in that industry. And he really made it. He had $10 million way back then in 1990s, and that was he had made it. But he made uh, decisions that overnight, before he realized what he was having, somebody who had $10 million, he had just $143 left in the bank, and he contemplated suicide. That's why I said suicide is not the way out. But he eventually came to realize that and reevaluate his business, look at where he had made mistakes, and decided to blog about it. He was part of the first set of people that started what you now call blogging. And he blogged about his experience, and he had, feedback from it. And before you know it, the blog business started booming, and uh, he had found his way back into making money. Not only that, he found his life back. So he became a mega popular blogger, and is still in business. So Martha Stewart is a very common household name. There's no, if you have your standard kitchen equipment, uh, especially the women, there's Martha Stewart item, utensil in almost every, good home. Not making an advert for Martha Stewart, but that was she made the name, and she was doing well. Then there was this insider trading accusation about her, and before you say Jack Robinson, she found herself in jail for insider trading allegation, and she spent 5 years in jail. And but when she came out, You thought she will hide her head and go and, live in obscurity? No. If you Google her name now, she's back in the business. She has, after that setback, you know, started so many other businesses, and she's not ashamed to go about and share experience, what lessons she had learned. So who are you? You might have considered yourself to be a big name in business. Already people already know you, and then you suffer a failure and you think that's all, you give up on it. No, please don't do that. Another multimillionaire which we know is the Disney. Now everybody know Disneyland. Every kid wants to get there, but he suffered setback. Initially, he didn't start that. Disneyland was not the first business he did. He started with filmmaking, and cut the long story short, he lost money in that filmmaking business which he started, and he was bankrupt. And what did he do? He didn't give up. And that's what we are telling you today. There's always a way out. He did not give up, and he started looking at other options. And he partnered with another person for the production of the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And this time he made it. It was a successful thing. And that was where he was able to you know, find his feet back, and Disneyland is a world name today. What about Ray Kroc and Disney? And I put on the side there that you might have a friend, you might have a classmate that is already in the news. They've made it. You hear their name on the media, and yet you are their classmate, and you didn't know. Nobody knows you today, but tomorrow you too can become known, because this is what happened to Ray Kroc and Disney. Both of them were infantrymen in the army in the early days of the World War I, and they both shared bunk together. And by the time they were discharged honorably from the army and they started business, Disney made it. Disney was already in the news. Ray was still knocking doors, selling paper cups and milkshake machines, but he never gave up. And, he discovered the hamburger restaurant, and he met the owners of the hamburger restaurant, and talk about them. And those were the original McDonald brothers who owned the McDonald's family. And they had discussion. And like today, if you talk about Disneyland, you could talk about McDonald's. But I'm telling you, your friend could be ahead of you today. Tomorrow, you catch up with them. Your name would also become a household name. So don't give up on yourself. Don't feel others have left you behind. There's no more time. No, there's this other man, not in my slide, but I will tell you about him. He started the KFC, the chicken man, in his late 60s. He didn't give up. That colonel started frying chicken the way nobody else fried it at that time. And KFC now is a household name. So don't say you are too late. Don't say you are too young. Don't say you are too old. Whatever setback you have in your business, these are people who suffer setback and they did not give up. In politics too, people lost and they came back. Look at President Cleveland in the history of America. He was the 22nd, and he lost election trying to get to the 23rd. So 23rd presidency went to somebody else, and he came back to become the 24th president. And when I was reviewing this size, Dr. Lawal, I said, I'm not predicting, but it's not too strange for somebody to lose the White House and then come back and take it. But go cast your vote. If you're in this side of the world, let's see. But that President Cleveland did not give up. So what is it that you lost an election, you lost a bid for a business, you are already a household name in your area of life or business, and things have packed up, you know, demographics change. And sometimes, if you are not smart enough to quickly recognize that the demographics of your supply and demand has changed, you might suffer a setback. Just like the popular story of the newspaper man, some of us, I'm sure you've heard of it, who was a street vendor, had a big corner, and in spite of all this uh, media changes, he still believed so much in the print, and but gradually he noticed that people were not coming to his newsstand again, because now everybody had it on their phone, so they don't need to come and buy the print. So some people still like to read the print, but if you are in a business that needs to change, you might, again, that's why we are here for you, to consult with whatever kind of business that you are doing and is not uh, getting the patronage you initially thought of. Your demographics might have changed, the pattern of people's supply and demand might have changed, you change. But just talking about politics, so I don't know what your vocation may be. You talk about Abraham Lincoln. Most of us must have heard about him in history. He lost elections, he lost his mother, but and apparently so many other failures in his life at that time. He didn't give up. He kept on until he became the president. Uh, you said I'm talking about millionaires, I'm talking about politicians. What about companies? Companies that came back, the popular Apple, that I'm sure most of us have Apple products around us. If you are not using a Mac, you have their iPhone, you have their wristwatch. But there was a time they too, uh, you know, had challenges with for their finance and they were bankrupt. They actually went bankrupt. It was Microsoft that bailed them out. So if you have a business that is suffering from any uh, challenge today, don't give up. Let's have that understanding that yes, you can always find the right partner, the right investor to take you out of that challenge which you are in. General Motors is also one of the popular uh, big companies that, in fact, the United States government had to bail them out. But the investors, the core investors, they did not give up, and GM Motors is back again. Texaco is one of the big oil company, or now is part of Chevron. But there was a time they were trying to acquire uh, Penn's Oil, and it was a deal that went wrong. But at the end of the day, they were bankrupt and they had to file for, you know, bankruptcy. So your decision that went wrong today is not enough for you to hand all and say, look, I'm not going to be in this business again. Texaco did not say, okay, we are not going to be in the oil business again, or, pay everybody up, let's go home. They went uh, forward. You've heard of brands that have also recovered from, because people talk about branding, especially we that use social media, say, oh, I've spent years to build this brand. Uh, I'm doing things about my branding. Yes, people had branding that, went wrong, and they did not, because of that, pack up the business. Tide, I don't know how many of us who in 2018, Tide detergent came up. Tide, by the way, was produced by Procter and Gamble. They came up with the logo that the Tide Pod Challenge, and somehow the young ones at that time took it wrong. How they decided to be taking the pouch of Tide and swallowing. That wasn't Take the Tide Challenge was not for them to swallow. It was promoting a product that was easy for you to drop into your washing machine. But some youth started ingesting it. and it became a nightmare for the company. And they had to hire a superstar footballer to help them do the campaign to get these kids off that challenge of swallowing the Tide detergent. But you think that with that, we should not hear about Tide today? If I'm sure, I don't know, whatever part of the world you are in, if your supermarket is well stocked, you will still see Tide brand is still there. Southwest Airlines is another airline that nobody wanted to fly with them by in April 2018 because of whether pressure or something went wrong with their engine and it dropped uh, pressure in flight, and one passenger died. And it was okay if you want to travel. Nobody wants to travel on a plane that one of their passenger died mid-here. So that was a problem Southwest Airlines had. But they did not give up. The CEO came out to address the issue, spoke about the facts of what really happened with that engine, apologized to everyone. They were sincere about it. They suspended their ads while the crisis was dealt with. So they came back and people saw their sincerity that, okay, they were not just trying to pull the wool over them. They really made a mistake and they were sorry about their mistake. So what is it that your business decision have suffered from? Don't give up. You can rise. You've talked about business, you've talked about people, politicians. Now let's talk about sports. All of us, I'm sure, know Pele, the greatest footballer, you know, in the early 60s. He dominated football. Brazil dominated football. I don't know whether they still dominate football today, but Pele was the household name. But then they had a match in 1966, and in those days, those of you who used to play soccer, some coaches would tell you if you miss the ball, don't miss the leg, and that was what they did to Pele. They make sure that his leg was broken for good, and everybody thought that that was the end of Pele's career, but he did not. That brutal tackle did not end his football career. He went back, he treated himself, and in 1970, he was there making the fourth trip to the World Cup. Magic Johnson, you know him, you've read about him. He tested HIV positive, and in those days that was like a death sentence. And he did not give up. He found the right dosage to use to treat himself, and he went on to continue in sports and in business. And uh, Magic Johnson is still a force to reckon with today. Let's talk about another athlete, Carson Palmer. He was a footballer and he sustained three categories of injury. If one suffered one of these injuries, that was enough to take him out of play, out of circulation. He had three: a torn ACL, a torn MCL, and dislocated knee. That was like it was written off as a human being. Even to walk would be a miracle. But then he faced the treatment, he underwent major reconstructive surgery, and he came back as a super player. I'm sure you've heard of the story of Michael Jordan too. There was a time where, especially when he lost his father, he thought everything was over. And he even tried not to play basketball, to try some other things. But about a year or two, he was like, floating. But then he found himself back. And not only find himself back, he found himself back in business. Muhammad Ali, those of you who know him, yes, he went to prison because of his belief. You stood for something and you were sanctioned because of that. You lost your business because of that. Yeah, people like Muhammad Ali who believed in what they believed in stood and they suffered the consequences, but did that make them lose their passion? No. After all the prison sentence he was sentenced to. They stripped him of his title, and because he refused to be drafted into the American war in Vietnam at that time, he went to court, he contested it, and he was released, and he was cleared. But by the time he came back to boxing, Joe Frazier and George Foreman were already dominating it. But Ali did not give up, and he came back and in 1970 knocked out Frazier and was able to retain his championship. So, what is the setback that you might say you are having? Don't give up. Ali kept fighting until 19, and until he passed on some few years ago. He was still somebody to be reckoned with. Harry Potter. Most of you know Harry Potter. Today is Halloween Day, incidentally. Eh, you know, but I don't celebrate Halloween. But Harry Potter was a writer. Uh, J.K. Rowling, that's her name. She suffered rejection. Her book was not taken, and she thought everything was over. But inside of her, she believed that she has a story to tell. She has something to offer the world. And uh, those of us now who, if you are into writing, you know that, yes, she has published so many series of the Harry Potter series that you can't even count them, but she has made millions from it. But once upon a time, nobody wanted to touch her script. And there are some authors too, like Stephen King, who, again, his own manuscript, he dumped it into the trash by himself because he thought nobody believed in him, nobody would read that. But the wife pulled it up, dusted it up, and started looking for publishers. They went around, and it was rejected 30 times before, he eventually found someone who believed and published his story. And that story was made into a film. And today, Stephen King had done over 54 novels, 200 short stories, and has won numerous awards. The other writer I would also talk about, because I love writing, like Dr. Lawal said, these are my own inspiration that, okay, if people can write over 54 titles and they are still writing, I shouldn't stop. I've just done 7, so I still more I have to do. So Dr. Zesos too was rejected by 27 publishers. And, cut the long story short, he found a friend. The friend decided to give it a trial, and that's it. He has become a household name in fiction and, children's book. He's still working on it. Recently I heard that one young lady committed suicide because of what happened to her. I think she was gang raped and everything, and she thought that was the end of life. Not too good a story, but possibly if she had heard of this lady, Cheryl Hunter, while traveling overseas, she was drugged, abducted, brutally raped at the age of 18, and in a 2022 People magazine interview, she noted that yes, something that happened to you could be traumatic, but well, that's not the end of life. She now works as a motivational speaker, encouraging others to use forgiveness and acceptance to reconcile the scars of tragedy. Today, she counsels victims to integrate lessons from their experiences. So, what you have gone through is not the end of your life. There are people who have gone through worse situations, and sorry about that the incident happened, but that should not make you end your life. Like I said at the beginning of this presentation, yes, you can still make it, you can still get up. Isaac Lixley is a former actor uh, in television series, and then all of a sudden at 25, he lost his sight. It is a different story if you are blind from the beginning, but you are seeing up to 25 and then you no longer see, then that's But did that deter him? No. He decided that he was going to use that incident in his life to overcome, and today he serves as a CEO of Florida Construction Services Company, and he continues to tell people that yes, you can have another life if one door closes, another one would open. Mala was at the age of 9 also developed a disease that degenerated and left her legally blind. But that did not stop her from having her passion in athletics in high school. She still competed, and thank God for the Paralympics. She has featured there several times, and she is now a teacher, now counseling other people that look, the fact that you are legally implying blindly, or whatever definition, you don't see properly, or you are outrightly blind, yes, you will come out of it. There is no such thing as perfection. Don't give up, because so many of us we are perfectionists. We want everything to be right the way we want it. But please don't give up. Stay positive, believe in yourself, use failure as a fuel, learn from your mistakes, know when to change direction, and let your dream be bigger than all your fears. Well, I've written some books, like I've said, and in those books, I have tried to use even things in my life, like, in Made for Relationship, there was in chapter 9, I believe, there was a marriage that was going bad because both husband and wife made decisions that were not right. So I'm telling you, if you are listening to us and you believe that that man, that woman is your wife, and what she's doing, what he's doing is not adding up to what you initially believe, don't give up. You can work it out. And, it's an opportunity for both of you to sit down. So you see that there's also a book, Mom and Dad, because I've seen many parents who do not parent very well. But Mom and Dad tells you about how, whether you are the father or the mother, or whether it just happened, because some people will tell you, they didn't plan for this kid, he just came. Mom and Dad will teach you how to handle that child well. For my friend at 50, well, by the time I turned 50, there were some people I was mentoring, like Dr. Lawal said, and I wish they knew the things I had learned. I don't want them to go through that experience. So I wrote that book for my friend at 50, so that the first few years of your they call it middle age crisis, you don't need to go through that middle age crisis if you learn from other people. So what I'm going to do next is to play you a video, Lessons from the Eagle. And after that, we'll take your questions and comments. So please, as you sit back and watch this video, I want you to see the lessons we can learn from the eagle.
Don't be a parrot in life. A parrot talks way too much, but can't fly high. But an eagle is silent and has the willpower to touch the sky. Here's the 7 mentalities that we can learn from an eagle. Number 1, eagles fly alone at high altitude. Eagles don't fly with sparrows, ravens, and other small birds, meaning stay away from narrow-minded people, those that bring you down. Eagles fly with eagles. There's a saying that goes like this: people you hang around will eventually determine the person you become. Keep good company. Number 2, eagles have vision. They have the ability to focus on something as far as 5 kilometers away. No matter what the obstacles, the eagle will not move his focus from the prey until he grabs it. Meaning, have a vision and remain focused in your life. No matter what the obstacles and challenges you may face, don't give up and you will succeed. Number 3, eagles are fearless. An eagle will never surrender to the size or strength of its prey. It will always give a fight to win its prey or regain its territory, meaning no matter what the size or big your problems are, don't give up. Instead, face it. Successful people are fearless. They face problems head on. Number 4, eagles are tenacious. Eagles love storm. When clouds gather, the eagles get excited. The eagles use the storm wind to lift themselves higher. Once it finds the wind of the storm, the eagles use the raging storm to lift itself above the clouds. This gives the eagle the opportunity to glide and rest its wings. In the meantime, all the other birds hide in the branches and leaves of the tree, meaning achievers are not afraid of challenges. Rather, they relish in them and use them for profitability. Number 5, eagles never eat dead things. Eagles never eat dead meat. In other words, an eagle does not scavenge. It only eats the meat from the prey it kills itself. Meaning, do not rely on your past success. Keep looking for new frontiers to conquer. Leave your past where it belongs, in the past. Number 6, eagles prepare for training. They remove the feather in the soft grass in the nest so that the young ones get uncomfortable in preparation for flying. And eventually, they fly when it becomes too unbearable to stay in the nest. Meaning, leave your comfort zone. There is no growth there. Last but not least, number 7, eagles possess vitality. When the eagle grows old, his feathers become weak and cannot take him as fast and as high as it should. This makes him weak and could make him die, so he retires to a place far away in the mountains. And while there, he plucks out the weak feathers in his body and breaks his beak and his claws against the rocks until he is completely bare. A very bloody and painful process. Then he stays in his hiding place until he has grown new feathers, new beaks and claws, and then comes out flying higher than ever before. Meaning, we occasionally need to shed off old habits, no matter how difficult. Things that burden us or add no value to our lives should be let go of. Thanks for watching this video. Share and subscribe for more amazing inspiration.
And rounding up, and then we'll take your questions, your comments. I just want you to know that you can rewrite your history. There is no situation or challenge that you have come across. Like the Yoruba culture will say, there is nothing that you are experiencing that has not happened to someone before. You might just not have heard about it. So don't let your mind be caged in with the fact that, oh, this is a shameful experience. If anybody hears about this, or how can I recover from this? We've shown you from the world of business, from the world of sports, from the world of politics, from the world, every area. Yes, setbacks do come, but you can get up from it. It's not over. So, Dr. Lawal, back to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yes. Well done for that. That's a brilliant one. I believe we all have taken our notes. We've made some notes, and then I think it's time for us to, entertain some questions. And I'm sure if you do have your questions, this is the time to put it across. Can you please send in your questions? I think we got a question actually while you are presenting. Um, I'm just trying to bring this slide down. No. Sorry about that.
Remove
Okay,
from
we'll get there. We'll get it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I've
I'm
removed
trying
it.
to look for the question. Okay. Have you removed this?
No, I've removed the video that was playing back
Okay,
again.
okay, that's good. That's good.
So now we could ask.
Yeah, there's someone who just quickly asked
Yes.
a question. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a Wale is asking, Nigeria in itself is a major setback, you know. So many ramifications. How do you manage to be inspired while surrounded with such a gloom? Like I said something, maybe if you joined us early enough, the first thing, Wale, is to know who Wale is. Who is Wale? What is Wale's purpose in life? If Wale knows his purpose in life and what he is supposed to do, that settles you, regardless of where you are in life, whether you find yourself in America, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Libya. If you don't know who you are, it'll become a recurring issue. There are people who have jackpot and they found out that jackpotting is not the solution because it is they themselves that need to get themselves right first. So if you know who you are and what God has called you to be, in that imagine chaos, yes, we have leadership failure at different levels of governance in Nigeria, but that does not mean that you cannot find your way until, either you become part of the solution, or if you have to jackpot, you are jackpotting with a purpose in mind, not jackpot because you just want to get out of Nigeria and then you come to America or come to England and still roam the streets. So first, many people who complain about Nigeria don't even know who they are. I think the first basic thing we need to enlighten our people is to say, who are you? Who are you born to be? What is your purpose in life? And you find out that people who have made that discovery, they have either learned a trade, get into a profession, regardless of the vocation they are in, they have something that bring in cash into their hands, no matter how little. Once you start from that little, stipends, you find that you make increases. So on one side, yes, there are a lot of complaints, I agree with you, a lot of bad decisions have been made by government over the years in Nigeria. But yes, but there are opportunities there. But it starts from you discovering who are you? Who are you supposed to be? A lot of us don't know who we are supposed to be. So it's easy to be influenced. We, in these days of media influencers. You have people who are influencing people who don't even know who they are. So they are influencing you to what? To a mindless, and making noise and complaining. That's not providing the solution. You are just part of the problem. But I believe if you are here today, what we'd like to work with you is first of all discover who you are. What is supposed to be your contribution to this life? When you know that, we can be able to work together and channel you to become, successful even while you are in Nigeria. And if the whole world has become a global village now. So yeah. And I see from our host has also responded that Nigeria is a fallow ground that is waiting for anyone to break. That was farmers do. That's what anyone starting business does. So you can break your own ground in Nigeria regardless of the challenge. So seek out your opportunity and not your barrier. So know yourself first.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's good. Yes, I think questions are coming in actually, and I would love us to see this. There's another one coming that says that how can we build resilience to handle unexpected setbacks in both our personal lives and our businesses? Resilience is the question. The question of resilience is what this one is asking for.
I think the first thing that will give you resilience, I'll use the local parlance, shock absorber. You must first have a shock absorber. And that shock absorber will come to you when you realize that what you have just experienced, you are not the first person it happened to. I think most of the time why we don't have inner resistance is because, first of all, we give up inside of us because we think this situation, this experience I'm going through, uh, I'm the first one to experience it. How will people say? What will people say? How do I face my friends? No, you are not the first person that is happening to. And so resilience comes knowing that, yes, if this has happened to somebody and they are successful, I also will find my way out of it. So resilience comes from your mindset of knowing that, yes, this is not peculiar to me. There's a way out of it. And then you begin to search for people who have done that experience, who have had similar situations, and how did they go through. And in these days of Google, you just Google, whatever that's it, and yeah, you Google it's on there, and encourage yourself, and then find a mentor, find somebody that will walk with you through your steps. If you go talk to someone and that person tells you that, oh, again, I will use Yoruba culture to say, pé tó bá lọ báyàn kan, wọ́n ní mi ò gbọ́rú eléyìí rí, ẹ̀rù la fi ń dábọ̀ lọ́rọ̀, kò sí nǹkan kan that you might have done. I'll leave Dr. Lawal to translate that for you. There's nothing that you might have had or experienced
Yeah,
that is
somebody must
not.
have gone through it.
Yeah. So
Sick
resilience
for her.
comes knowing the fact that, yes, somebody has gone through this and I'm going to go through, and you seek counsel and you don't give up, and you find out that tomorrow on that subject, you also become a subject expert, just like we are sharing. Yeah, I'm sharing with you now because I've got my first setback. Let me tell you, my first setback was in my university days. I was in the fellowship. I thought I was a full-time minister, and I was busy sharing tract and preaching all over the campus. I thought my studies were secondary. My first goal in the university was to preach and win souls. So around this, by the time the second semester came and did the exam, I failed. And I was like, what? How could I fail in my first year? Uh, and then, then in the fellowship in those days, people will come and give testimony and say, oh, praise the Lord. I didn't even read, but I just went into the exam and I had the Holy Spirit tell me what to write, and I wrote and I passed. Praise the Lord. And here was I. I thought I was working for God. Where were you? I was discouraged, but I realized that I didn't plan my time well. I mean, God was not the problem. It was Adewumi that was the problem. So I went back. Yeah, and in my final year, I think my project was one of the best. So yes, let's first of all, like I keep saying, what is it that you yourself have done to yourself?
Yeah. Yes, there's another one there. Was it's what role does self-compassion play in bouncing back from failures, and how can we cultivate this?
Well, self-compassion, I would want to say differentiate between that self-compassion and self-pity, because pity, empathy, emotions, those are things we need to uh, define and clear. When you say, what role does self-compassion play? Self-compassion, I want to assume that you know that self-compassion means encouraging yourself in line of what we have said, that yes, you are not the first person that this has happened to. So you are not given up. So that's part of the right self-compassion, because pitying yourself and wallowing and saying, what will other people say if they hear this? What will my mom say? What will my dad say? You know, uh, and you start repeating negative things in your mind to yourself. That's not self-compassion. Self-compassion is realizing, like I've shared with my experience in my early days in the university, was to differentiate between, yeah, I had people who were telling me they didn't even read the past. So where do I belong? Does it mean that God did not love me? I thought I was working for God, you know. So I realized that I made mistakes in not using my time. So self-compassion means having a proper introspect about yourself to know where you have gone wrong. And in the Christian parlance, that's what we call true repentance. True repentance is recognizing, where did that mistake come from? How did that sin came? And you want to make sure you build structure so that that mistake, that sin will not occur again. That's what repentance is. Repentance is not just say, oh, Lord, forgive me, I won't do it again. If you don't know how you fell, you will fall 7 times again. Hopefully you keep, but so self-compassion, I believe, is analyzing yourself properly first before bouncing back from failures. Because like in most marriages, you find that a particular person who divorced the first man would end up not knowing the reason why they divorced that first man, will end up in 3 or 4 different marriages and still divorcing. But the problem is they themselves. So if you don't and you keep blaming others, like, yeah, others are the one responsible for your problem. That's why I said, yes, Nigeria is a challenging place, but Nigeria is not responsible for all your problems. There's still something you can do for yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, someone said that self-worth is a mantra. Your worth gives you confidence to undertake any challenge, which is very true.
Yeah.
It's
Very
all
true.
about, like you said, it's all about knowing who you are and what exactly you want to do. What do you want to achieve? Where is your goal? What do you want to do? And that may help you to propel you, motivate you into ensuring that while you're on your journey, there are going to be challenges and setbacks. Not necessarily to turn you back, but to actually confirm. I tell people challenges is to prove that where you are going is important or not. If it's so important and you know you're on a journey, it does not matter what comes your way, you still head on, keep going. But if you turn back, it's never worth it anyway for you to go back on the journey. But anyway, I'll leave that to our presenter to deal with. So yes, what
Yeah,
role
I
does
just
okay?
add, Dr. Lawal, one of the other things like we watch with the eagles, the
Yeah,
eagle does not hang around with other, kinds
mm,
of gods.
Lovely.
But
That's
let's say
true.
circumstances have forced you, and I'm sure some of us have heard the story of the eagle that was brought in by a farmer hunter and the little eagle, put it with the uh, chicken he was rearing in his farmyard. And
Mm,
that eagle kept, eating maize, going around, pecking, and, things like that, until one day he saw an eagle land, and instinctively inside of him he wanted to do what
mm,
that eagle has just done. But yeah,
yeah.
circumstances of life had put him along with the chicken. But
Mm,
then when he saw the guy flip his wings, he tried it and he saw, oh, I can do so. He flew. So that's what we are saying, that what is in you what will help you. So who do you hang out with? Don't hang out with people who never see anything good in any government, in anybody. All what they do is criticize and criticize. They possibly are not going anywhere. That's not
yeah.
the kind of people we want you to hang out with. Be like
No.
the Hebrew. Surround yourself with people who have like-minded, focus and ready to walk the talk.
Mm,
So
mm.
that's
And
what gives you your self-worth.
yeah. And I think your response actually touched on this question that just came in now, that what practical strategies can leaders now use to support their teams through setbacks? I think I know that when you were talking about
Mm.
Apple, you using Steve Jobs as a case study. I think that's one of the things you look at. As a matter of fact, I think he was actually fired from his own
Yes.
company
Yeah.
before he
He
came
was
back.
fired and
So,
they had to,
so
to,
yeah,
to
so
bring him back. And
yeah,
one of the strategies leaders can use to support people is also to know that you don't know it all.
mm,
Sometimes, because we believe that because we are leaders, we want to assume that aura that we know everything. No, I think there is a story I will tell you about a factory. They have loaded the truck in the factory, and was supposed to go out to supply their customers, and it got to the gate and it couldn't go because they've loaded it full to the maximum. And they were looking at what ways, what lift, how can they, adjust the gate so that
mm,
this truck can drive through. And there was just an ordinary gateman who was there, and approached the marketing manager and all the big boss who were moving around. And because to unload that truck was a problem, but they wanted to get it out, and said, "Sir, can we just deflate the tires on this truck? And then when you get out there, we pump it back." And that was how that truck could go through. So, as a leader, don't say you don't accept, suggestions, because somebody there might have and could see, the way the team can do better. So you have
mm,
to support them by saying, yes, you are open to their suggestions, you are open to learn from them. And that's what team, I think the acronym of team in those days, Dr. Lawal, we used to say, together, everybody achieve more.
more,
That's what the acronym of team is. So yes, let that togetherness be there. Welcome cross fertilization of ideas. And there's another story. I love telling stories. Napoleon the Great, part of why he lost one of his great battles was that the soldiers, they were all ready for him. And then as he was to climb his chariot, his own horse, there was a nail missing in the to hold his foot firmly. And he was searching and searching and searching for that nail. And in those days, if the general doesn't come to give the order, you can't move. So the enemy moved against them. So again, don't let little things hinder you. Let's corroborate with others. And yes, leaders You can support teams by being transparent, by being there, and learn from everybody. And like I've said, do empirical data search of other people who have such problems. How did they navigate through? Like Dr.
Yeah.
Lawal said, Apple had such the other companies I've listed in the slide. Yeah, different companies, Texaco, all of them, they usually they have problem. But the difference is that the mindset of the leaders is that yes, we are going to go through this and succeed. Not we are not packing it up.
Exactly. And if one can also borrow from the experience or examples of the ego that you gave, which
Mm,
will be a very fantastic approach to leading a team to a successful end. I will expect that as a leader, and you just know that number one, you want to have a great attitude. Your attitude toward making sure you lead your team out of setbacks is key, and that is propelled by your vision. You want to know that you have a clear vision,
mm,
and you can actually share that among the team. Keep telling them, keep explaining the vision to them. Make it so simple, make it so plain, and then of course have the attitude that this will be done, and then follow the process. Don't be fear. Don't, I mean, be fearless, and then of course tenacity and all that point that you gave in terms of the ego. I think will go a long way to set for a leader to bring his team out of that situation, out of setback. Thank you so much for that. I think we can take one more too, and then of course we have another one here saying that how can this is very important, and I think we need to look at this because when you are talking about setback, it's not as easy as it is. A lot of challenges, and we all have level of different level of tolerance. Some people can't bear some things, just naturally can't bear some things, and of course, it could be because of the way they perceive themselves, or because the way they have developed their mind. But whatever it is, circumstances, your environment has a lot to do with how you come out of setbacks, and not even with a situation where you keep having the same situation and perhaps highest challenges every now and then when you are even trying to raise your head over and above the water to survive, but you keep seeing pressure. But now it comes to a point where you want to know how you want to maintain your mental health, your emotional health, during this long period of struggle or recovery, from setbacks.
well,
What's your take on this?
yes, thank you, sir. And one thing we must realize now is that the issue of mental and emotional health is like the elephant in the room that people don't want to talk about, but it's real. It's real that we have mental and emotional health challenges because they some have been exposed, like we said, to different stresses, different pressures. And if you find that you are unable to sleep, the basic barometer, I'm not a doctor, my wife is a doctor, but the basic uh, indicator, the basic barometer, if you cannot sleep properly, please consult your doctor, because it's either you are processing and reprocessing things, and that is where the mind gets engaged if you are not careful in negative things. So once the basic challenge of you cannot maintain your basic life of sleeping and waking up, please, you need to see a doctor. You need to consult, a an health expert, because they have broken them into different specialization now. And the way you can purify yourself is to make sure that, yes, avoid negative things. The social media, as good as it is, that it empowers us to have knowledge on our fingertips. So you must know how to take in the right positive things and the negative things you must learn how to reject them. So, but yes, you are a human being, and once you find out that your human rhythm is not going the way it's supposed to do normally, your BP, that's why you must regularly check your BP. You must regularly do your physical exercises. Make sure you are sound in health, because we tell people you don't want to use your health to make wealth. And then when you get that wealth, use that wealth to maintain your health. That's a zero, it's like a vicious circle. So when you are making wealth, make sure your health is good, because you need good health to enjoy that wealth that you are making. So yes, mental issues come up because we have exposed ourselves these days to different information. And one of the things is, Dr. Lawal, I don't watch soccer when they are playing soccer because the palpitations of my heart. I would rather let them finish that match. Then I review, then I see who scored and see the highlight, because I find out that if I stay emotionally, and you've seen a lot of people who have kicked the TV, who have kicked, you know, So know yourself and know how
Yeah.
to balance yourself in terms of what your health can contain. And it's so sad about, I think Nigeria and one country played, and almost 3 deaths were recorded over that weekend of people who had high blood pressure watching that match. I think it was a match with South Africa and Nigeria was playing. And because the highlights of the match was so much, their BP rose, and so yes, know yourself, and please take care of your health first. And it's real. Yes, consult a doctor, see a specialist, and they don't charge most of the time. I hope my friend from Nigeria will say, do they provide that for them in Nigeria? But I believe yes, there are NGOs that are trying to help to make sure that
Yeah.
people, yeah, get medical attention.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Yes. Also, in addition to what you just said, that in answering to that, we got a response also. In order to maintain a healthy mental and emotional health, you need to always keep hope alive. In the future, you can see will serve as a driver to your intended outcome despite the challenges. And further
Yes.
says that hope helps you to rest even if you are under tremendous pressure.
Mm,
That's
mm,
very true.
yeah.
Thank you for that. You
All
see,
right.
I'm not sure of your time. Okay, you want to say something?
Yeah, like we always remember the story of Joseph. Joseph had a dream. He never forgot the dream, despite the fact that he was in the
Mm,
pit, he was,
mm,
in prison. He knew that one day the shields will bow down. One day the moons, the star, I mean the sun and the moon will bow down. So that's what we started with. Whatever your dream is, whatever, like we said, even this 2024, what you have said you are going to do. I've come across some people have mentoring. They give themselves their business. They must earn so amount of dollars. They must
mm,
write so amount of books. Even I myself, speaking to you, I've said this year I must write so many books. I don't know.
mm.
I've done 2 or 3 out of it. Maybe I say I have 2 more to go before the end of the year. So uh, always have that hope. Have the desire you want to be. And if you are not attaining it, always go back to re-strategize. So,
Yes, sir.
yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, you will permit me. There are
Yes.
two questions that I want you to please attempt, maybe briefly on each of them, and that will help us to round up on this. The first of the two says that what habits or daily practices help individuals prepare for setbacks before they happen. This is what I call in my own way, scenarios
Yes.
planning,
Mm.
things that hasn't happened but could happen. You must have prepared for it. But let's hear from you, sir.
Yeah, I would say you must be a reader.
Mm,
Uh, I always say you cannot be a leader without being a reader. You must be a reader. You must learn. In those days, when there are no books, the wise men, the wise women, they sit with the elders. They tell them the stories, tales by the moonlight. So you must, the first daily habit is you must learn to read. You must learn to read about what has happened. Of course, if you are privileged to be have a personal relationship with God, you want to read the Word of God to guide you uh, for that day. So you start with your personal relationship with God, but always read. Readers are leaders. So when you are reading, when you have a situation that confronts you, you can draw from the resources of experience of things that you have read. It will let you know that yes, uh, setbacks have happened to people. This is happening to me now. How do I apply it? So, daily habit, please read. Try and read a book a month. If you can't finish one book in a month, take a book and make sure you finish reading it. Even if it takes you 3 months, pick another one. Even if it takes you 6 months, don't drop it off. Learning, reading helps us distinguish us. Like I said, a reader is a leader at any time.
Yeah, thank you. And that helps you. I mean, it's all just to prepare your mind and your mentally also prepare you mentally, and then of course prepare your team in the event of things happening. Disruption do happen. Setbacks is not may not even give you signals that is that it's going to happen, but things happens. COVID happened, and a lot of setbacks, but some are gone, some are bouncing back. You are still here, so there must be some level of things you have helped yourself with in terms of building yourself up for such a time like that. But again, thank you so much for that. This is the last one I think I have here, and then that says that how do we know? Very important. How do we know when to persevere with a goal versus when to let go? Setback is here now. You are dealing with it. How do you know when to continue doing it, the place of hope, or this one is telling you you need to back off?
Okay.
That's a
Thank
very
you.
that's a very tricky one.
One of the things I said is that in my slide is like, do not be a perfectionist. A
Mm,
perfectionist is the one that would say, unless I have all this and all this, I won't, go. No, you should have criteria that you've set for yourself. And yes, if they are not attainable, when you review, then what are the other options that you have? If that is not attainable this year, like I said, you might replan and say, okay, I need to give more time to this. I need to source for more resources and I'm not going to go begging. So that means I need to establish another line of income that will fund what I want to do. So I always say the greatest thing that get people stuck is becoming a perfectionist. Because you and sometimes it's pride because you don't want to be seen to have started something and did not do it. No, if you didn't achieve it that day, another time will come. And like they say, he who lives to, if you run away from one battle, you live
mm.
to fight another
Another
one.
one.
You look at Thomas Edison, sir. Most of us are familiar with Thomas Edison, the
Mm,
big guy who now gave America the source of electric power. They said he carried out series of over 3,000 experiments, and he didn't give up. But at the same time, he learned so many, there are so many other patents he did because as he was doing those experiments and he was failing, he was learning some other things
mm,
that are now patent to his name. So, yes, don't give up, but if it's not going that way, mm, review the options. And when you reviewing the options does not make you a coward. You only have learned one way that thing is not working, you are learning other ways it will work. So I would say, don't give up on yourself. And like we always say, you are not the first person that faced that challenge. Take a retreat. I mean, God had a plan B. When man failed, he didn't say, "Phew, I'm destroying them." He knew they would fail, and he had a plan. And despite the fact they were scuttling his plans, he was ahead of them. So if God does not give up on you, don't give up on yourself. And you have seen other stories whereby it was because of their failure that they learned and turned around to do some other things that they were not. If when I was reading the story of Al Kellogg, the conflicts came out of an accident. It wasn't somebody burnt the biscuit
Yeah.
they were doing, you know, and that was how. So if he said he didn't succeed as making biscuits because the biscuit got burnt, but he was smart enough to notice that the flakes, and that was how conflicts came out of a failed uh,
Experiment.
a failed biscuit cooking experiment. So let's always not overjudge ourselves, forgive ourselves, and see, okay, what are the lessons we can learn in this? And like I told you, remember Roy Kroc and Disney, they were both together in the room. So sometimes I see my classmates, oh, they have made it, they have hit it, and where am I today? No, don't go that way. Your time is coming. Your own purpose will be fulfilled, and yes,
Yeah.
the world will celebrate you. Just like today, McDonald's is as popular as Disney. So
Yes, that's true. Thank you so much. Thank you. Right after that is that Anthony said vision is permanent, goals are temporal, subject to change. Yes, you need to know when your goal becomes an entrance to your vision. So let go and realign your goals with your vision. Thank you so much for your contribution and participation, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. This has been transformative as well. Yes, friends, I think we are rounding up now. We get into the end of this October masterclass. What a piece, what a presentation, what a level of attendance we have and the level of participation and involvement. Thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate this. Um, you know, in the end, setbacks are not merely interruptions. They are invitations. Okay. Whenever you see it, it's not a stopper, but they're invitation. They invite us to become stronger, wiser, like you said, and more compassionate. They remind us of our humanity, our strength, and the remarkable power of resilience. So rising from setback isn't about erasing our pain. It's about in transforming us into a force that propels us forward. Sir, our presenter, Dr. Alabi, your last word. Finally, what is one piece of advice you will wish you had when you faced your first major setbacks? That advice, I want us to make it your last word to our participant and our audience. What exactly it is that you wish you have had when you face your own setbacks, and what would that mean to those who are listening to you today?
never give up. Don't give up. When that first challenge of academic failure faced me, I did not give up. I, though I felt disappointed, I felt let down, but I said, you know what? I need this education as a platform to get to where I'm going. So, and if I don't tell you the story, I've gone to school to that same uni like 3 or 4 times to get different degrees. It's not written on your head that,
Yeah,
oh, he once faced a semester or he once had a carryover or he once,
yeah,
no, never give up. That's what I would tell you. And yes, never give up on
thank you.
yourself because there is a purpose. That's where we started from. There's a purpose why you are living. There's a purpose why you are here on this planet.
Yeah,
Discover that purpose and fulfill it. Don't give up.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. You've heard that now. We're not giving up. We keep pushing. We keep pushing. Thank you so much, our presenter, our guest speaker. Thank you so much for the depth and the wealth of experience and expertise you have shared. We appreciate that. And to those who are joining all the way, where you are all welcome. Thank you so much for your involvement and participation. We encourage and we appreciate this. Well, we got to go anyway. So yes, thank you for attending and participating in this masterclass. What a beautiful one we've had. We hope you find it stimulating and educational. What has been shared today offers opportunities for deep insights and actionable strategies that can inspire you to develop resilience, adapt, and keep moving forward, even after facing significant, challenges. If you have any questions, comments, or inquiries, please visit our website at www.skillsmindset.com, and leave us a message. One of our team members will reach out to you. We encourage you to subscribe also and follow us on our various platforms so that you don't miss any of our episodes on our podcast and our monthly masterclass. I encourage you to approach every moment with courage, optimism, keep pursuing your dreams with knowledge and unwavering passion. Until next time, thank you so much and bye for now. Thank you.
The world is changing, and so does change. But the mind has the potential to capture the changing world and make every change count. At Skills Mindset, the leading global skills, strategy and corporate development company, we believe that the mind has the potential of transforming the man from obscurity to prominence. It's the reason why we make skills our business. At Skills Mindset, we stand for change, for development and for success. We challenge, we inspire, and we lead. With Skills Mindset, your limit is just the beginning. Welcome to Skills Mindset. For more information about the great service we provide, please visit our website on www.skillsmindset.com or give us a call on our UK number on 07957 676 193. Better still, send us an email on info@skillsmindset.com. Skills Mindset. Challenging limits, maximizing opportunities.